War Thunder is a tough game to play, at least to do well in. Sure, the meta community who fly the best planes and play them perfectly to their playstyle may seem impossible to fight because they'll force themselves into an advantageous position, but even they get caught out at times. Meanwhile, in the BI, that thing out-accelerates the MiG-21. It's only for a minute of fuel, but I digress. Today I'm going to break down how I go about playing War Thunder, in this case flying a Spitfire Mark IIA. This is actually a premium version, being the Venture, but it is statistically identical to the Spitfire 2A. It might have a slightly more aggressive radiator, which helps the Spitfire's inherent cooling issues, lasting virtually all the way through its service life. Of course, this increases the drag with the radiator being more open, and, well, it's premium, so it's got a better credit coefficient. I don't know if that is a thing, by the way, the more aggressive radiator tuning, it just feels like it is. This version also has fairly weak armament, being 8 .303 caliber or 7.7mm machine guns, with seemingly a lot of ammo at, 2,800 rounds? It's actually not very much, because it's only, 350 rounds per gun? They're also positioned very far out on the wings, making it, at times, very hard to use all the guns effectively. Your gun's targeting distance is crucial and, to be honest, decisive when you start firing on an enemy. Mine is 700 meters. The playstyle of the Spitfire is a super typical turn fighter, having one of the best turn times in the game, at this BR, and for that turn time, pretty good energy retention. Makes it a very fierce opponent, but it can't get much over 290 miles an hour while flying flat. That's 252 knots or 460 kilometers an hour. Without diving, it won't really get over that. This makes it subpar in terms of top speed, and it breaks up a fairly low speed too, being about 470 miles an hour, 408 knots or 750 kilometers an hour. Compared to most planes, it's a very poor energy fighter, but it can be forced into the role if need be, due to its ability to climb very quickly, risking of course the engine overheating, but that's enough about the plane. This is the anatomy of a dogfight. Let's get started. So, what information can we gather around us at the moment? There's a lot of ITPs, which are a very stout fighter plane with a terrifying cannon. So far I've seen 4 of them. There is enemies all around me at the moment, but I'm the highest player here, so that puts me at a decent advantage. I can pick and choose who I want to engage, however, looking at the leaderboard it shows that my team is dropping quite quickly, so I need to get involved soon. The biggest threat to me is the Yak and his friend, who are to my right and almost at my altitude. They're a decent way off though. There's an ITP passing below me, so I'm going to dive on him and see if I can bring them down. This will also help me get into a bit of a fight with the ITPs who are attacking this P-39N. He was the guy formation flying with me earlier. This long initial burst I did of nearly 100 rounds is what I like to call a sighting in burst. This will give me sort of a rough idea of where my guns are leading. It's useful to do if you aren't particularly sure where your guns are leading and you've been, say, switching between different aircraft that have different leads. There's times where confidence is very important and transitioning between targets is very useful. I did it here primarily to assert myself. I want to start making both of these players think, right, there's something that's being a major problem. I'm taking quite a bit of fire. And indeed I did hit them both. They are both also leaking something now, fuel I think. However, my buddy just died. This is kind of where confidence is very useful. I'm confident enough that I'll be able to take out these 2 players. They're also in a far worse position than me. They're also at a low altitude, turning, which is where I want them. He started burning, so that tells me they're leaking fuel. I'm going to turn away for the next target, but I'm going to climb up because he's at an angle to attack. He climbs with me, which is the right thing to do, but I'm still going faster than him, so I'll probably win unless he gets help. My teammate shuts him down before that can happen, though. This HS-129 tries to fire on me, so I'm going to bait him by climbing up for the Spitfire. As we turn back, we see an ITP who's coming in hot. We're going to deal with him while the Spitfire is on the other target. Unfortunately, the Spitfire turns to deal with the ITP and not go for the HS-129. I'm in a position to fire on the HS-129, so I'm going to go for him.
We're ahead of the enemy.
Check the leaderboards and see that I am one of 4 players left, one of whom's actually already died. He's in a bomber. This is probably quite bad considering there's, 5-6 enemies to fire on. So, what are we going to do? Well, I only have 200 rounds per in my guns left, so I'm going to head back to the airfield. The enemies are probably going to be coming after me anyway. This is my only opportunity of surviving. I don't want to draw them into the airfield anti-air. Just it's a noob move. I'm going to try to land though, because I simply have no other alternative. Anyone who comes at me I can fire at with these last 200 rounds and hopefully do something. Hit trees, time to climb. This Focke-Wulf coming in hot is going to overshoot. Hopefully I'll be able to get some shots off on him. He's leaking oil now, so we can turn away and move off. We probably hit his engine there, so he's going to return to the airfield and repair. I know that because it's an air-cooled engine. Also throw a little bit of ego into the chat. Generally this is a mistake because it always comes to backfire, but I felt kind of pumped after getting 3 kills. Look at those shells detonate. They're fucking terrifying. Well, unfortunately we did draw him into the anti-air. I mean, I really didn't have any choice. I need to land. I'm not going to be able to fight someone with 5 bullets. Maybe he can with those cannons, but I certainly can't. Slightly awkward landing angle, it's fine. Checking the board, we are 2 vs 4. We can see the Focke-Wulf and I-185 going to the airfield now, leaving the Hurricane alone. He'll be our first target. The Hurricane's another turn fighter, but being a Soviet variant, he has very limited ammunition, with fairly difficult guns to use because of the bullet drop. We also notice that Yak crashes, making us 2v3. E38 covers my takeoff, which tells me he knows something about the game. Even if it's just strength in numbers. At this BR I don't expect players to know everything and every strategy in the game, so I'll keep in communication with him and I'll check his stats just so I know what I have on my side. I let him know not to turn with the enemy because twin engine fighters very often have a worse turn rate than single engine fighters. He gets the idea. Hurricane gets set on fire by an AI shooting at him. He's dead. Wooden planes pretty much always die of burning if they get set on fire. I'm going to bait them by firing on AI and ground targets. Notice how I'm firing from a very long distance away, or as long as I think I can hit them without wasting too much ammo. This should give away my position a little bit more. Hopefully they'll rush towards me, making them a perfect target for the P-38. I'm pretty confident that if they do rush me I can out-dogfight them. Maybe not get shots on, but with the help of the P-38 it should be fine. And of course I tell the P-38 that this is my plan. Tell the P-38 to go for the Focke-Wulf first. Because the Focke-Wulf is the less agile of the two aircraft, he's going to fare a better chance of fighting it. It's kind of tough to tell what their plan is here. They're heading pretty much between the two of us. It looks like they're kind of going towards me from the minimap, from the map screen, but I don't know for certain. And I see the P-38 diving, so I'm going to go in and see if I can help. Notice the P-38 breaks off its flaps as I climb up towards the I-185, so I can start firing on the I-185. I didn't actually realise at this point, but the P-38 actually overspeeds and crashes. I was too busy missing the I-185 though. I hear an engine coming in, so I start to evade thinking it's the Focke-Wulf 190. It wasn't, but it puts me in front of him so I know which way to go to stop him from actually being able to get shots on me. And I'm going to continue firing on the I-185, who is in a better position to fight me than the Focke-Wulf. I set the I-185 on fire so I can now turn around and start going for the Focke-Wulf. Hopefully that fire will kill off that I-185, I don't know yet though. He's taken damage to the oil tank, so it's pretty likely. Turning for the Focke-Wulf 190, I know that I outturn him. There's not going to be any way that he can get onto me like this. I don't want him to run to the airfield. Coming back around, we see the I-185 and his fire has gone out. Unfortunately, he's returned to the airfield, which tells me this Focke-Wulf 190 is all mine. He rolls upside down and tries to pitch out of this fight, but flaws in the way. I'm going to return to the base because I only have 130 rounds left. I let that Focke-Wulf know that that's the flaw and that he should avoid it, and I head back to the airfield. I type to the I-185 that he should J out when he lands. Sometimes this works, usually it doesn't, but with 4 kills I feel like I've got a bit of buying power, so to speak. I check his stats to see if it's more likely or not that he's going to J out. Generally level 100 players won't, generally level like 10 players won't because they think they can do it. More often sort of between level 40 and 60 people do. Level 70 to 100 sort of get more confident. I know that's what happened with me. I don't know if that happens with anyone else. He has actually got a better win rate than me, but I checked his stats later on, like in more detail, and my average kill to death ratio is far better than his for some reason. But it doesn't matter because he crashed on landing. I kind of wanted to have a fight with him, to be honest, but it's alright. Speeds up the game.